Welcome everybody, Brian Terrian here, and today I'm going to talk to you about special enrollment periods for Medicare. Most people are familiar with the Medicare world as the ability to enroll or change your plan starts in October on the 15th and then ends on December 7th. But I have Medicare expert Daphne here with me today, who has been helping people since 2016 find the right plan. So we actually have found that there's 25 little known special enrollment periods that we're going to share with you, and they'll be below this video. And where the benefit is in knowing this is if you're on a plan that it's not quite a fit for you, or there's a better plan in your area, you may not have to wait until October 15th to make that. So, Daphne, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. I mean, is it common that you can find, I guess a loophole or the ability for somebody to change? I mean, is this going on out there? Is it easy to do, easy to find people that might fit these?
Yes. Most of the plans or the providers, most of them will recognize these special enrollment periods.
Mm-hmm.
And the special enrollment periods basically come out of the need that people have had in the past. And if they voice their opinions to Medicare somehow will provide us a SEP, which is a special enrollment period for that person. And so once these SEPs start to be, come about, they start to list them in their website. So if you were to go to Medicare.gov, you can find a whole list of the special enrollment periods that you can have. And one of the ones that we deal with a lot is being new to Medicare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True. And for those looking out there, you're looking at the Medicare.gov site on the screen. And as I mentioned, there's 25 different special enrollment periods. So we're just going to hit the highlights on a few of them. Some of them are pretty self-explanatory. So the first one, let's go through the new to Medicare. Some people don't know when they're Medicare eligible, especially after they've been approved for disability. One of the common, most confusing transitional periods for people. So how would you best explain that,
Daphne? When a person gets their disability, right, within 24 months of applying for disability, the person will get Medicare. And the thing is that knowing that, and the way that you can find out when you are expected to get your Medicare package is to call the Social Security. And Social Security will be able to tell you when your package is coming and when you'll be eligible to enroll in a Medicare plan.
Mm-hmm.
And normally you will find that information at with the Social Security at 1-800-772-1213.
Right.
That is the number for the Social Security. And so if you get your disability, make sure that you call the Social Security to find out when you'll be eligible for your Medicare. It's very important to know that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good advice. Yeah, so it's 24 months, you said, right? So there's a 24-month waiting period for Medicare. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which is there's one here that says a plan is rated 5 stars in my area.
Okay.
What's that all about?
Okay. There are plans through providers, and I will give you an example of one of the providers, which is Humana. Humana has a plan that has been rated 5 stars twice since 2019, and they got it for 2020 again. And it is basically a plan that provides all the things that a person in Medicare would need, and they give them very good customer service. They give them good treatment whenever they have to get treated, and people find that it's very easy to deal with this provider. So there's a lot of things that goes towards that 5-star rating, and if a company has a 5-star rating, you as an individual have one chance through the year to convert to that 5-star plan. So let's say I have a plan that I'm not very happy with, and I don't have any other special enrollment periods that I can use, but I do know about this plan in my area that's been rated 5 stars. Well, I can sign up for that plan because it's been rated 5 stars, and I have one chance to do that throughout the year.
Wow. I'm just thinking of a variety of different, like from a business perspective, it's like a monopoly, right?
Right.
Really cool. I mean, it's totally tilted towards the consumer. That's great.
Yes,
Way it should be. Yeah. All right. So 5 stars. So if you go into Medicare.gov and you see a plan with 5 star and you want to get on it, you get one shot a year.
It has to be in your service area.
Yep. Okay. All right. Let's jump down to the next one I have on the list here to talk about. And again, we're not going through all of them. Some of them are really obvious, like I'm released from jail. I mean, we don't need to explain that. You're either in jail or you're out of jail. So this one is I am no longer eligible for Medicaid. So let's talk about that. How would that affect somebody?
Okay. Let's say you're in a plan that specifically you have to have Medicaid and Medicare, which is the Medi plan, right? But for some reason you lose your Medicaid. Either your income went up for some reason, you got a better job, and so you lost your Medicaid. That means you're no longer eligible for that plan. So now that gives you a special enrollment period where you had to come out of that plan and get into another plan that is not delegated for a Medi.
Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. A lot of variables here for people, for sure. All right. Next one we have is somebody has lost other drug coverage. That's as good as Medicare drug coverage. They've had coverage, they've lost coverage. So now that they don't have coverage, is this saying that you're like a free agent? You have the ability to select a plan?
Yes, you can select a plan that gives you coverage, right? And a lot of times that happens when a person decides to stay on the plan with an employer.
Okay.
And let's say for some reason you get fired and you no longer have that privilege to be on their plan. Now you have a special enrollment where you can get into a plan that has Medicaid that gives you the drug portion of that.
Okay.
So you need a plan that has the Part D, because basically you got into a plan that just gave you Part A and Part B. You didn't need Part D because you had your job with the employer. Now you don't have that. Now you have a special enrollment to get into a plan that has that.
Okay. So this would apply mostly to those that are not disability recipients because they're likely not working, I would expect, more in the senior market. Would you agree?
Well, it depends on the person, because you could be working and on disability and making a very little additional to add to what you have, and you could be using your employer's plan. And I just recently spoke to a person like that.
Okay.
She had her disability, but she was still on her employer's plan.
All right.
hmm
Nice.
As long as that employer's plan is credible, which means that it's just as good as Medicare's, you can stay on it.
All right. Good. Next one, I think this is the most popular, most common, or most valuable to our audience, maybe all the above, is if you are Medicare and Medicaid eligible, you have the ability to change your plan outside of the typical um, annual open enrollment period from
hmm
October 15th to December 7th. So
hmm
explain the details of this one, Daphne. I think this is a great opportunity.
Okay. In the past, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, they allow the clients to change every month if they wanted to. If they were unhappy with their plans, they could change every month. But it got a little bit tedious, and so they just recently changed that now you can only change every quarter. So
Mm-hmm.
within the January, February, March, that quarter you could change, and then you have April, May, June, and June you have July, August, September. Those are the 3 quarters you can change. The fourth quarter is the quarter of the AEP. So
Mm-hmm.
AEP, you're going to be governed by AEP. So you have that quarter, but you have to be governed by the rules of the annual enrollment period. So you can change the first 3 quarters, you can change, and then the last one you can change through the AEP.
All right. So if somebody's on a plan or their needs change once a quarter, if you're dual eligible, you can make that move. Awesome. Okay. There's another one here, but it sounds very similar to what we just discussed. And it is. I qualify for extra help paying for Medicare prescription drug coverage. Um, how, is that the same, or is there any difference between that
Yes,
one on
there's
the
a
list?
difference.
Okay.
Yes, there's a difference. Um, Extra help, which is also called the low income subsidy, which is we call LIS,
Mm-hmm.
is for clients who need help getting their medication, and you don't have to be on Medicaid to have the extra help. But if you are on Medicaid, it normally comes along with the Medicaid, which is the extra help for your prescriptions. So you could have a whole list of clients to work with all through the year that has extra help
Uh-huh.
because of the guidelines that they give you. Normally, when you get Medicaid, your level of income is much lower than someone who's just getting LIS, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So those people who are getting that extra or that low income subsidy, they have a enrollment period, which is very similar to what we just discussed, where they have to do it by quarter.
Okay. Okay. And just for those of you listening out there that might be wondering what extra help is, correct me if I'm wrong, Daphne, is that if your check as a general rule, your disability check or your income as an individual is below $1,500, it is possible that your state will pay for your Medicare Part B premium. Did I get that right?
Yes,
Okay.
and like we said, the same thing with Medicaid is each state has their own general rules and regulations for what you have to be making. So some states it could be $1,200. Some
Mm-hmm.
states it could be $1,000 or less, and
Mm-hmm.
you qualify for the low income subsidy.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
the
I,
good thing about low income subsidy, Brian, is that it also covers co-pays. It covers your premiums. You're not eligible for well, put it like this: some people get some people get additional things when it comes to the low income subsidy, and it all depends on the states whether they're going to give them additional credits towards certain things
Okay. Yeah, I
in the
know
plan.
the
Mhm.
Medicaid rules state by state are different for
Mhm.
sure. And I know that uh, I expect you have, but I know that we have found individuals that have been paying for their Medicare Part B that don't necessarily need to, and you know
Exactly.
it's like $1,600 a year savings. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, unless they are listening to programs like this, or they are the provider that they're using has sent them a letter. Like my provider sent me a letter like 3 times and
hmm
wanted me to check with my state to see if my state would pay for my Part B. And knowing that my husband's income, I knew I would not qualify for it. So
hmm
based on certain qualifications, right, your you get that information. There's a lot of people out there don't know this information, and they need to check with the Social Security Administration to see if they qualify for certain benefits like this.
right, right, yeah. Or contact us. We can help them out.
Exactly.
Um, So the next one is if somebody has a specific condition that is in line with like a chronic care special need plan,
Mhm.
heart disease, liver arthritis, diabetes, there are special plans. If there is a special plan available for them, they can, if I am understanding this correctly, Daphne, I'm asking for validation, they could move into that plan at any time during the year, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
So, so what about this situation? Somebody is on a traditional Medicare Advantage plan that they've been on, and
Mhm.
they're in the middle of, they're in May of a given year, and they develop diabetes, and there's a plan in their area
Mhm.
for diabetes. Could
Yes.
they move on to the plan?
Most likely, yes, because that is a special needs plan now, and if it's a special needs plan, it's in your area, your service area, right, and you have that condition, now
Yeah,
you do qualify for that plan.
yeah.
So yes, you would be able to move into that plan using that special enrollment.
I like your choice of words, most likely, because there is no certainty, right?
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, when you're dealing with the governmental programs, you have to
Yeah, yeah.
see, yeah, you got to know that certain things, right, go along with certain plans, but then you might run into a roadblock anytime.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, we just have a few more here that I want to touch on. I wasn't properly told that my other private drug coverage was as good as Medicare. So, would this be an example of, let's say, somebody's on another plan, maybe through an employer or wherever that other drug coverage is, but it's not as good as what's available on a Medicare plan, an Advantage plan?
Well, it's like you're working with the employer, but the employer never told you that you have a credible plan. You find out through talking to another employer, or excuse me, another employee, that their plan is credible. So now you find out, wow, I've got a credible plan that I can use, and I don't have to pay for this plan that I've been using, because some people have to pay for their Part D premium,
Mm-hmm.
Part D plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that becomes a step that this person was never told by their employer that they have a credible plan, and now I find out I do have a credible plan. Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to get on a program, a Medicare program where I don't have to pay for my Part D my Part D plan.
Wow, that's great. Well, so
Hmm.
listen again, just to kind of recap here running out of time, but there, we've talked about in general. There's 25 different criteria that if you're listening out there, you may qualify for. Some of the most intriguing ones for me are the five-star plan in your area that you see. You can take advantage of that. And if you are dual eligible, you can move basically 4 times a year, once every quarter. So
Hmm.
if you would like help exploring your options here at the Disability Digest, we've got a group of Medicare specialists. We'd love to do it for you. If we can, it's free. If we can't help you out, we'll certainly let you know. And this is public information. You can go and sift through Medicare.gov and find it all out there on your own. So hopefully this has been of value to you, Daphne. I really
Yes,
appreciate you taking the time, lending your experience, making an effort to make a difference for others out there. Thank you. Thank you.
I enjoyed it. Thank you.